Right now, in this special edition of Sports Talk, we'll recap the Rams' 28-22 loss at Philadelphia in the NFC playoff matchup yesterday. We'll talk about what happened last night, plus what's next for the Rams as they head into free agency. Will this be the end of the Sean McVay playoff Rams era? Are we heading towards a rebuilding year? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Plus, we'll preview Sunday's Championship 4 matchups between the AFC and the NFC. All this and more coming up right now here on Sports Talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special live edition of Sports Talk. This is our Rams recap show. Tough loss for the Rams yesterday. They lose to the Eagles 28-22 in the NFC divisional matchup. Season now over for Los Angeles as Philadelphia moves on to the NFC Championship game. We'll talk about that and more. I want to wish everyone happy MLK Day. I know a lot of us were up watching the presidential inauguration of our new president. A lot of us are happy with that. Some of us aren't, but that's what America is all about. Your opinion matters. I am, of course, Ed, and I have my partner Jesus here. Just pardon the voice. Some of us have been sick lately over the past few days with the recent wildfires in the airs. So, tough time, but we'll manage to get through. Yeah, we welcome you here to Sports Talk here on Podbean, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And partner, it was a tough loss yesterday for the boys in blue and yellow.
Yes, sir, partner. One tough battle to the end. One hell of a season. Proud of the team to able to fight through adversity and overcome it. But they just came down short. And there's a lot of factors, key plays in that game that could have turned tables real quick.
Yeah, indeed it was. So I do want to kick off our top story, but we also have some breaking news coming into our desk here. So the Chicago Bears are finalizing a deal to hire Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as their next head coach. Detroit lost to Washington Saturday in the divisional playoffs, so they're out the 1 seed. So now it looks like Mr. Johnson is on his way out of Detroit. Now he's going to Chicago. What's your reaction to that?
Damn, so the pretty much coaches are already getting signed by other teams and the season's still not over. What you think about that, bro? Because I feel like they should start doing that once the season is completely done, but who knows?
Well, assistant coaches, coordinators, they do want to be head coaches because that's the best job in the world. You're not going to make your money being an assistant for a long time. I mean, some do choose to be that. And then there's some assistants who used to be head coaches that just do assistants for the love of the game. So, I mean, who knows on that? But that is the breaking story. So now we will go ahead and move along and talk about the game yesterday. And it was a tough game with the Rams losing 28-22. As Jesus mentioned, it was a close game. It could have gone either way. I mean, the Rams got off to a good start, after giving up that Jalen Hurst 50-yard run. They answered back with a 9-yard pass to Tyler Higbee for the touchdown. Even though the Eagles missed the extra point, the Rams went up 7-6. I mean, what was your thoughts on that first drive after the Rams gave up that opening drive?
Yeah, after giving up that big run by Jalen Hurts for the touchdown, we came out and strike back pretty much.
Yeah, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts as far as the play selection on that first drive?
It was good,
There seemed there were more passing than running.
Yeah, so I believe we just started off hot, slinging it to Puka. I think they thought we were gonna run it more, but now we started off throwing more, as you could see by Higby. Everybody pretty much contributed on that first touchdown and that big first down by Stafford. Or it was short by 1 inch, but it was a big running play by him
I
to
think
get
the key
into the end
play.
zone.
I think the key play of that first drive was when they do declare short after Tyler Higby's catch, Sean McVay challenge, and actually they ruled it a catch, so they moved the chains. So I think that was the key play on that first drive, because that would have led to a punt, but McVay challenge and the call return, and that's how the drive stayed alive, and it ended with a 4-yard pass from Stafford to Higby. Before the end of the
Yeah,
first quarter, the Eagles responded back. Saquon Barkley, 62-yard run. We've seen this before, partner. You see, they went on the pocket. There were a lot of offensive line in front of him, not many defenders, and there you go, 62 yards.
yeah, super frustrating. Once again, deja vu all over again from
Now we
what
go to
happened earlier
now we
this
go
season.
yeah. Now we go to the second quarter, and Rams defense stepped up big time, partner, especially one verse number 8.
Yeah, Verse went all out yesterday. He had a great game. Great game. He had big plays, got a couple big sacks to get a punt, and yeah, rookie of the year defensive on the defensive side.
Yeah, he had some key sacks in that second quarter. They held the Eagles scoreless. You often don't see that much, but they did hold them scoreless in that second quarter. And then right before the half, Philadelphia was marching on third down. Verse again gets that sack, kicks about a field goal range.
Yeah, and it seems like the snow started falling heavy after that second quarter.
Yeah, we knew the weather was going to be a factor. Stafford's record in the snow 1-8, so that's not really a good sign. And the last time we played in Philadelphia was 2013. It was a snow blizzard game. That was against the Eagles. But Joshua Carley gets a 30-yard field goal at the half. It was 13-10. So very surprising in that second quarter. The Rams really kept the Eagles in check.
Yeah, and I believe that field goal was big because we had to get the ball back at halftime. But I believe we win. They stopped us that first play in the first half, second half. I mean.
That's right. First play, third quarter, Stafford goes down on the 3-and-out. There were a lot of 3-and-outs in those first two possessions, third quarter. It was all field goals in defense. Joshua Carley answers a 34-yard field goal, ties the game at 13. But the next drive, after Rams 3-and-out, Jake Elliott hits a 44-yard field goal. They take a 16-13 lead. And just before the end of the third quarter, after a Rams punt, Jalen Hurts is sacked by Neville Gallimore for a safety. At the end of three, it was 16-15. Momentum in the Rams' favor, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. That play was big. We were super hyped when that happened. It was a full. It was big. It was just a pretty much defensive game at that point, and when the snow started kicking in, and that's when the fourth quarter started. And I thought we had a pretty much a great drive, but that fumble happened, and which was super frustrating.
Yeah, we go back to the Week 12 matchup partner at SoFi in the first drive of the Rams. Kyron Williams tries to take it into the end zone, but he fumbles at the 2-yard line, recovered by the Eagles, and many believe that was the turning point of that game. So why are we saying this? Because guess what happens the next play? The first play, Kyron Williams goes to his left, looks like he's going to get the first down, but the ball gets punched out of his hand, recovered by the Eagles. How about that? How devastating was it for the Rams?
Yeah, it was devastating. Even though I believe, did we stop them? Because it was a fourth and down, third,
He
fourth
had
down
a
in the red zone.
he had 106 yards partner, but he had two fumbles. One of them he did get back though. Next Eagles possession after the fumble, it's first and goal, no good. Second and goal, no good.
No good.
Third and goal, stopped. Now they try to do the Philly tush, and
Oh,
they
yep.
try to
And
get in.
false start.
He's short, but then the referees call false start on the Eagles.
Right.
How about that?
That
That was
was,
a big play right there. I thought momentum went back to the Rams because they got a lucky call right there.
it did. I felt like it did, but
Well,
we
it
just
stopped the
couldn't get.
threat. It stopped the threat, and they got another field goal, so it was 15-19. Next Rams possession partner after that fumble, Stafford tries to make something happen, but then he strips it again. Back-to-back fumbles by the Rams.
Yeah, I haven't seen that all season pretty much, so it was big. I believe the weather was a big factor in those fumbles for sure.
Well, Well, that led to another field goal by the Rams defense, though they did play tough, partner. They held them to another field goal. Still a 7-point game, 22-15 with 4:30 left in the game. Rams trying to get back in it, but a 3-and-out by the Rams. They give the ball back to the Eagles, partner. And here's where I thought the game got sealed right here. Saquon Barkley, check this out, 78 yards on one play after the punt. I thought it was game over.
Yeah, I actually thought it was game over too. But surprisingly, the Rams came back on the drive in the 30-second, 40-minute drive into the red zone, and they scored.
That's right, partner. Stafford goes on a 2-minute drive. It calculated with a 4-yard pass. Even Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua has some big nabs. Even Robinson has some nabs in that drive, and they went down the field right away. Stafford, I mean, he had it going. Stafford threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah, he had a big game.
He had a big game, but those two fumbles, those two turnovers in the fourth quarter, I believe is what hurt the
Crucial.
Rams. And
Yeah,
again, Saquon Barkley, he had 200 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. The Rams get back in it,
down by
22,
6.
22, 28. They're just down 6. But then next possession, the Rams defense again, partner, they step it up.
Kobe Turner gets a sack, a huge
First
sack.
on another sack. And he talked a lot of trash this whole week about Eagle fans, but he came and he backed it up.
He did back it up. I believe he had about 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and plenty of defensive assists and tackles.
Yeah, and then here we go. The Rams, and keep in mind the Eagles missed 2 extra points in this game.
Yeah,
You never
those
want
were
to leave
big.
points off the board. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely not in the playoffs and in the snow too.
But how about the Rams, though, partner? Their ability to stay in it. They never gave up, and we're going to talk about that right now. So, minute 54 after the punt, Stafford finds incomplete. He was actually looking for Puka Nakua, but then he gets Robinson on the next play, and again, the 2-minute offense. And how surprised were you that they weren't able to do this the whole game until now?
Yeah, I feel like we should have we should have done that earlier. Kept the drive going, get the defense tired, because that's what we did that last 2 minutes. And believe it or not, it came down to the wire at the 20-yard line, at the
And how about
25.
And how about this catch on 1st and 10 from the 40, from the 45 after, Puka Nakua? Look at this catch. What'd you think of that one?
Yeah, that was a huge momentum shift, and I thought we could have finished and scored. I already had it in my mind that we were going to score and win it, but unfortunately,
He had 97 yards in the game. A couple plays later, Stafford trying to find somebody. He looked for Puka again out of bounds at the 15. They're getting close, and here's where I thought that something could happen. But then here we go. Next play, Stafford on 3rd and 2 tries to find someone, but he gets sacked. And I thought that was the big point right there. You don't want to hold on to the ball. He could have thrown it away, couldn't he?
yeah, he could have. And with no timeouts, the clock was running at that point.
And here's a questionable call here. I know you're trying to make something happen here, but I don't know if this was on Stafford or it was Puka Nakua. Stafford on 4th down goes to his right, tries to find Nakua, but it's out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a tough play. Puka was looking for a flag, and McVay was yelling at the ref for a flag, which could
Yeah,
have
looks
been
like
called. But
if you look at that replay, there was a lot of contact there. In that last play, and it wasn't called though. But again, it was 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. I mean, that last play, maybe they should have ran it, or maybe they should have done a quick pass, partner. I mean, I don't know what would you have called in that situation.
our our quick pass screens, we're so good at those. We could have surprised them with the screens, but unfortunately, our O line couldn't get those last 2 plays blocking coverage with perfection, and they got us. They
Yeah,
got
and
us with those.
one thing I learned in this game, if you're not going to find something, at least throw it away. Live to fight another down, because I think 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, the playbook's open, and I think it was a mistake to hold on to that ball longer. I think Stafford should have thrown away, but that 4th down pass, I don't know, that was like questionable. Looks like there was a lot of contact there, but referees didn't let it play. I mean, in the end, the Rams had a chance, and they came up short. The final score 28-22. Matthew Stafford, he had a hell of a game. He threw for over 300 yards. Saquon Barkley, he had over 200 yards rushing. Kyron Williams had 106 on the ground, but he fumbled. Puka Nacua had 6 grabs for 97 yards. Demarcus Robinson, he had 2 big catches in the second half, 3 catches, 74 yards. Cooper Kupp, though, was quiet pretty much the whole game until that last drive where they scored 5 catches for 61 yards. Tyler Higbee, 7 for 54 and a touchdown. And then I'm surprised that these other players, Tutu Atwell, I didn't see much of him. And then Kobe Parkinson gets the touchdown at the end. So,
Harney, I want to talk about a big injury that happened before the half, and when defensive end Brandon Fisk sacks Jalen Hurts, but he exited the game with a knee injury and wasn't able to return.
yeah, I think that was a big downfall for the Rams because those were the key players. That front four really gave the Eagles a lot of trouble, especially in like second and third downs where, Young or Verse and other players would get inside that pocket. But without him, I mean, look, the defense still played great without him, though. That was the thing.
Yeah, they did. You got to give them props for that.
So, I mean, I
But
think it could have gone either way, to be honest.
no, yeah, it was that. Yeah, it was. We were pretty much. How could you say? We were 20 yards away from the next round. A touchdown.
Yeah, so, I mean,
But for the Rams to rebound from a 1-4 start in the season and reach the playoffs is a remarkable achievement once again
yeah,
by a young squad.
yeah, that's the thing, too, because everyone didn't really figure the Rams were going to get in this spot without Aaron Donald. I mean, everyone figured with 99 gone, this team's not going anywhere, but they proved everybody wrong, and, they made a playoff run.
Yeah, most definitely.
But that defense, though, has picked it up. They had 9 sacks in the win last week against Minnesota, and then they have a couple sacks here today, and possibly may have injured Jalen Hurts because he looked like he was banged up after the game.
Yeah, he was banged up when Verse sacked him. His whole knee bent backwards, and they had to put a pad on his knee. As well as Saquon Barkley, he got hit big on his left forearm, in which he had injured as well. So they're going to come into the game a little bit hobbled versus the Commanders next week.
Yeah, Sean McVay did speak after the game. Let's listen to what he had to say about the game.
Understand and appreciate how difficult it is to be in positions like this, where you've got the game, in hand. I felt like we had total control towards the latter part of that game. Momentum was in our favor, and we had an opportunity to be able to win that game, and we just came up short. And like I said, you give the Eagles credit. It's an excellent football team. They were able to make enough plays today, but love this group. And I'm just really sad that this journey is over. This was a special season. It's as much fun as I've had. As much as you've ever wanted to do right for the people in that locker room. We've had a lot of special teams, but this team, there was something really special about them, and I think I'm up here pretty shocked because I know a lot of people didn't believe we could come in here, but we had the full expectation to come in here, and I don't think anybody ever really expected the end of the season to be right now, and the finality of it is tough for me to swallow because of the love and appreciation that I have for this group. But like I said, you give Philly credit. They did their thing, made enough plays, and obviously Saquon was excellent today. And I think the 2 turnovers were really costly, but I'm not going to make any excuses, and I'm proud of our team. Just let them know how much I love them and appreciate them, Jordan. And you know how different every single year is. Being fortunate enough to be in this position, or be in this role for 8 years. You don't take for granted the caliber of people, the special combination of people, both young, some guys with some veteran experience, the coaching staff. We've had a lot of turnover and a lot of changes for a lot of the right reasons here. But the way that group was able to stay together and some of the different things that we've gone through this year, Jordan, I think just from how closely, you're in tune with what's going on. Love this team, and it's just hard because he didn't want it to end. I just didn't see it going any other way than us earning a couple more opportunities to play, and that's tough because you don't get that. I think you saw, there were some times where some uncharacteristic things just in terms of the ball handling. We had 2 turnovers that probably don't necessarily occur in different elements, a couple drops. You could see, when Saquon got to the second level, similar to the first game, but there were some different layers that we did have in our defense. He was able to pull away, but they had to play in it too. We had to play in it. We had every opportunity to be able to win that game at the end there, Sarah, and we're a couple plays away from me being a lot happier right now. So, like I said, I'm really happy and proud of this team. And I'm happy to be a part of this team and proud of this group, and I'm really bummed out that that this journey is over. 29-28 is all that I saw. There was nothing you could tell me, Dylan, that wasn't going to go down like that. And he did that. And unfortunately, we had a miscommunication on the 3rd and 4 that put us back where you book a special player when we probably could have converted on that play. It moves you back. And I won't talk about what I thought occurred on the 4th down, but he put us in a position to be able to win that football game, and that's who he is, and I'm not at all surprised. And we all had the expectation with him leading the way that we were going to win that game, and he did everything, and he did his part to put us in a position to be able to do that. Yeah, I'm not really interested in talking about anything as it relates to next year right now. I'm just appreciative of this team.
Well, you're Sean McVay, very optimistic, but very disappointing. He said he was in his mind, 29-22 was in his mind, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, well said by Coach McVay, like always. Great coach ever since he joined the Rams back in 2016. Has carried this team into a great team and great coaching staff as well. Gotta give him props to all of them. Hell of a season for sure. Gotta give everybody credit where it's due. And I feel like for some reason, Aaron Donald feels. I have a Aaron Donald comeback coming. I'm not sure. What you think?
Well, partner, I know I mentioned this at the top of the show. There is a speculation about Matthew Stafford. He's got 2 years left on the contract he renegotiated in the off season, but he was asked about his future, and I want you to listen to this, and I want you to let me know what you think of this.
As far as my future goes, it's 30 minutes after the last game, so I'll take some time to think about it, but I feel like I was playing some pretty good ball.
You got football left in you?
Sure feels like it.
All right, what you take of that?
I personally feel like he has one more year in him. What you think? Because his wife actually posted a Instagram post 2 hours ago she mentioned last quote, guess we will find out what's next. So I'm not really sure at this point. It's still too early, but I feel like he has one more year in him.
I think he can finish the 2 years. I think he has it in him. And I'll tell you, this team has changed a lot since he came over. He came over on the trade with Jared Goff after spending 12 years in Detroit. He won a Super Bowl in his first year here. He's taken his team to the playoffs 4 times since he's been here. And I just think that he changed the culture of the Rams, him and Sean McVay. You look at McVay's records, 8 years here, one of the longest tenure coaches in the franchise. He's got more wins than Mike Morris when he took over after they won the Super Bowl in '99.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like Stafford and McVay is great chemistry brewing. And who knows? We might, like you say, we could see him finish his 2-year contract, but it's tough to tell at this point.
Well, here's the thing too. I know they don't want to talk about what happens next, but we do want to know, as sportscasters, what's next for this team. He's got 2 years left. Look, I know it was after the game when maybe it was the wrong time to ask him that because he was emotional. So, I don't think it was the right idea to ask him that question, but maybe if you give him a couple weeks, he'll probably tell you he might come back, and we hope he does. But if he does call it quits, who's going to step up. Right now the other quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's set to be a free agent. He only signed a 1-year deal. He played on a regular season finale, which he played well too. He threw over 300 yards in the finale. I think, he could be a future. I mean, he's beat this team before. He's lost to them once as a Niner. So he owns the Rams. I mean, is it possible that they may say, hey, we kind of need you here because we don't know about our guy. You don't know if he's going to stay or not. What do you pitch to Jimmy Garoppolo to get him to stay?
I believe we do resign him because
I mean, let's look at it this way.
I mean like great good.
Carson Wentz was here last year. He wins you the game, but you had to go to Detroit. He's now in Kansas City where he's in position to win a second Super Bowl if they win next week. What are the chances that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go somewhere else and he might get another Super Bowl?
No, I do not think he goes somewhere else. I think he stays as a Ram. We're gonna resign him. I think there's a lot of pretty much how could I say? There's a lot of compliments in the locker room about Stafford and Jimmy in the playbook room or in practice. Good chemistry. They were talking. They got close together this year. So I feel like they're gonna re-sign him again, and he does have a great personality with McVay as well. So that's my
Well,
opinion.
it could open up the quarterback competition if he does come back. But how about that defense though? We're gonna go ahead and play some clips. This is Jared Verse talking after the game, and I'm pretty sure everyone wanted to know what he had to say because after all, he was doing the trash talking this week. For those of you that didn't know about it, he kind of went out and said that he hates the Eagle fans. When he sees green and white, I guess it just edges him on. And he had a rousing booze the whole game, but he came out and played good. So let's hear what he had to say about yesterday.
The storyline with you going into the game. How do you feel you played, and how do you feel about the season?
I feel I played good. I could have been better. I mean, coming out with a couple tackles, a couple big plays that we did to turn over the ball on downs. But there's more I could have done. On that big run, Saquon had, Bobby ended up taking the edge, and so I folded back. One. It wasn't my gap. I folded back a little too far. If I didn't fold back, I would have been right in that big gap waiting for him. That was something that could have been stopped. But, knowing what I learned from my whole rookie year and seeing, there's some dogs out there that you're going to have to play every team or somebody that's going to really, test you. Just knowing that I'm having everything so far.
You seem like you embraced what was coming at you. What was your attitude going in? And how did that go?
Well, I like hustle violence. I don't mean nothing to me. It doesn't faze me. It hypes me up more than anything. It's not like, I'm finna shy away or get nervous or anything like that. Nah, that turns me up. That hypes me up. DY was feeding off and I was feeding off and Kobe was feeding off and we love it.
Given what this team overcame to even get to this point, how do you process the season after you get to this point?
It's upsetting because, we've faced adversity on many levels, being down, in California, having the natural disasters that have been happening there, internal things that we've had, trouble with here and there. It sucks, how much adversity we had to overcome. And then, in these final moments, we weren't able to overcome anymore.
What did you guys do that you liked what you did? Obviously, the conditions, this game could have gone your way, just like it went their way. But, what did you guys do defensively? Obviously, Barkley was house on his big run, but what did you do?
We were stopping the run first off, foremost. Can't let him run off the field. He's a dangerous running back, probably arguably the best in the league right now. I've played him, so I'm going to say he's the best in the league right now. He's been dominating. He's dangerous, so you have to kind of stop him before you can even do anything else. You have to earn the right to rush the third down.
Not that you're somebody that needs any more motivation already, but how do you use a result like this to feel even off-season even more?
I don't ever want to feel like this again. I don't want my teammates to feel like this again. I don't want to look in their eyes and see anything but pure bliss and pure happiness. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Now that's a guy that could answer the challenge, and it'll be a shame if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, most definitely. He deserves endless praise for his performance once again. Superstar talent, young, with 5 pressures, 4 tackles, 3 TFL, 2 sacks, and 2 quarterback hits. Bright future for the defensive team, Rams. Young, hungry Rams. I think they'll come back. once again next week, healthy. Not how we started off this year, unhealthy all around. But we got to sign a lot of players that are going to be in waivers, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes, but I just want to say this. I think after that Saquon Barkley touchdown run, I think that's what changed the outcome for him. He kind of got more angrier, but he played pretty much aggressive after that touchdown pass. Because you see the replay, you see Barkley like turns around and goes, "Hey, it's you." He goes, "Say my name," pretty much when he was running towards the end zone. But he did get Versus attention. I don't think he's gonna admit it, but I think he kind of peed him off though.
Yeah, Verse gave it his all. Like you mentioned in that Barkley run, he ran full speed to catch up to him. He never gave up the whole game. So once again, proves how tough he is.
And we do want to hear from the other defensive player on the Rams, Kobe Turner. Let's hear what he felt about yesterday's game.
It comes down to just owning our assignments each and every play, and there was 3 or 4 plays where we're going to break loose and move on the third level for the hard tackle. I know one play they got us caught out in an overload rush in front, and they came up to the line and camped it, and my antennas went up, and it was like, okay, they're getting into a run, but I should have got us back into a more balanced front. And they ended up running, and they had numbers. And so whenever he gets up to the second or third level, that's really and all the other times we can make the picture ready for any running back. It's hard to do. It didn't really. The same one that we're playing in is the same one that they are playing in. You would think that they would have been able to lean a little bit more on us and be able to drive us out. But I think our cleats were good, so it just played like a regular game for us. I'm sure on the back end there's a little bit trouble, tracking the ball. I saw that on both teams as well. But for us, it's the same. Obviously, the play going back in the game. Anytime you lose, that's the way it goes. Even when you win, you want to see some plays back. There's no difference there. But I was really proud of this group really all season, the way that we battled, whether that was in game or game to game or week to week, whatever it was. Through this season, it wasn't no one perfect by any means, but this group really stuck together, played the total team. Effort every time we went out on the grass, and I feel like tonight was the same. Obviously, it's disappointing. To end it this way, but I'm proud of the way we got it. What is the most disappointing way this capitalized? We love to have scored again. Obviously, felt like as an offense we had them on the ropes, but they probably felt it too, and we were moving the rock really well the last 2 drives, and then just a couple kind of unforced errors here and there, and got behind the sticks. And you do that against a team like that with a defense like that, it's going to be a difficult thing to overcome. But proud of the way we fought, and sure wish we could have done a little bit there at the end to get done. Had that shit.
That was Matthew Stafford and Kobe Turner. And partner, I believe you have a little bit of breaking news right now during locker room cleanup. What do you got to report?
Yeah, so a new report came out about the future of Cooper Kupp in LA. As yesterday during the locker room cleanout, pretty much there's a quote by Cooper Kupp on his future in LA and what holds, and he doesn't know or doesn't clarify on what's going to look like for his future in LA. Do you see a Cooper Kupp moving? I could see that. I believe his prime is over. He still has the skills, but his history of injuries, we might move on with him.
Well, I mean, that's going to be interesting because even during the season, there was a story or something came out that he was on the trading block, that he may have made, that he almost was traded, I guess. But Sean McVay came out and said no, he's staying, that there was no need to trade Cooper Kupp. It was just a rumor, but I mean, what are the chances you see that Cooper Kupp is gonna leave the Rams? I mean, is it even possible that this might be the last time we see Cooper Kupp in a Rams uniform?
Yeah, who knows? From his quotes, like he said, who knows what's going to happen? A lot of stuff is out of his control. I believe it's more like a 50-50 chance we move him. And his last couple weeks of the season, he didn't perform at his highest ability like he's been doing the last couple seasons. But I'm not sure the trading blocks talks mid-season got in the way or not, but it could be a 50-50 we move away from Cooper Kupp.
Well,
Cool.
he had 61 yards in the game yesterday. He only had 29 yards in the wild card round. Is it possible that maybe teams already know how to cover because they've seen this offense for the last 3 or 4 years, that the big threat is number 10 and now you have 17 in the mix? I mean, is it possible that maybe they find that way to guard him, because we did see a glimpse of the old Coop a couple times. So, I mean, he still has playing time left, but do you think it's, from the injuries that he has sustained, that he can't stay on the field that long anymore?
Yeah, I believe so because we've used him more just blocking in the last couple of weeks of the season coming into the playoffs. More blocking screens for him instead of, yeah, he does run his routes, but he gets covered sometimes man or double, so that could be a factor on why I think Puka's taking his position. Well, he already took it.
Our co-host Sean Quinn. Not sure if he's able to join us today, but he did send a response to my question, and I'm going to read it on air. It says, "Quote: They weren't targeting Cup as much as they used to. He had a low yardage mark this season. Granted, he was out for 5 weeks, but they could have used him a bit more." So, agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. We could have used them more in the throwing schemes, but unfortunately we didn't.
Now let's go back to when, since he's been here in LA, um, the 2017 rookie. So in 2017 he had 62 grabs, 5 touchdowns, almost 900 yards. 2018 he had 40 grabs, 6 touchdowns, but he missed the rest of the season through injury. 2019 he had a breakout year. 94 catches, 1,161 yards, 10 touchdowns. That was in 2019. 2020, the COVID season, 92 grabs, short of 1,000 yard season, 3 touchdowns, and then that was with Jared Goff though. But since Stafford's been here, let's go back to the Super Bowl season. 145 receptions, close to 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. He was the MVP of that team that season. And then you look at, the next year, 2022, 75 nabs, 6 touchdowns, but he gets hurt, misses a season. 2023, he misses a few games, 59 grabs, 737, 5 touchdowns. And then this past season, 67 grabs, 710 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So he's been on a decline from the Super Bowl year. Do you think that maybe the system's changing? Because let's face it, this is not the same team that won the Super Bowl. This is not the same team that scored 30 points a game. They only scored in the 40s once. That was against the Bills. Um, what's your take on that?
You go over the comment real quick.
Okay, so Sean did respond with another one, based on those stats, and here's what he says. He says, "I think he has had his fun in LA. And it just may be time for him to move on from the Rams and go work with a new team who is struggling at the wide receiver position." You know what, Sean? I'll think of one team that he may go to: New York Jets. I mean, now if he does go to the Jets, I think Aaron Rodgers will come back one more year. So I mean, I think that's one team that he can go to
I
with
have
the
a team in
floor.
mind. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers on his radar. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers could be a good fit for him as well.
Yeah, I can see him there with
Pickens.
actually Sean disagrees with me. He says that the Jets may be a low point for him, may be true. But I think I would like to see Cooper Kupp and Justin Fields, bond.
Wait, Justin Fields is a free agent this year.
Yeah, but I mean, let's think about it. Who do you want now? You want Russell or Justin? Think about it. Who would have won you that playoff game? Justin Fields would have won it for you. He's younger. Russell Wilson is near his end. He did play well with the Steelers. I'll give him that. But I feel like it's time that they go younger at the quarterback position. Because, I mean, look, you went into the playoffs on a 5-game losing streak, a 4-game losing streak. You lose to your rivals twice, especially to end your season. I mean, how hard is that? You go into the playoffs limping and you go out limping. So, I mean,
But yeah, I agree. I think they should have gave more Justin Fields playing time, but they didn't. They trusted in Russ.
well, he had a success though, bro. I mean, that's the thing. When you're successful, it's like the saying: if it's not broke, why fix it? They were doing well, so they stayed with him. But I believe they could have made the change in that losing streak, because they could have gotten better. But they still decided to get with him because they trusted him. Now, going back, I think they made a mistake. They should have made the switch. But who knows? We're sportscasters. We're not coaches. They don't pay us for this. So, I mean, it's what we think. But at the end of the day, it's what the coaches think. They're the ones that make the money. So, I mean, that's on them. But I think it's too early right now to talk about the future. I still think Cooper Kupp has a place here. Everybody loves him. He's got a great relationship with the management. He loves Sean McVay. Sean McVay loves him. I'm sure if they can maybe bolster up the offense a little bit, maybe get some veteran linemen on the line, they might be able to start going deep for him next year. I just think that it's a new system that he's not adjusted to yet. He's not adjusted to catching 10 yards passes, 12 yards, 8 yards, compared to the 20 and 30, the deep balls that he got from Goff and Stafford. So I think it's just a challenge that he's got to go through, and I think he can make it through. But now that we're talking about free agency, how about I give you a quick stat here? Take a look at the Ram players who are 25 years or younger. I mean, what a group this is. Puka Nacua, he's up there. Kyron Williams, he's young. I mean, they can get more out of those two guys. You look at Jared Verse, he's 24. Kobe Turner, 25. Biox Limer, 23. Steve Avila, 25. Kobe Turner, 25. I think I already said that. I'm sorry. Omar Spikes, 23. Quentin Lake, 25. Cam Kitchens, 22 years old. I mean, how you can't get younger than that? I mean, do you see them putting a veteran in there?
I feel like that could work if we put a veteran in that defensive young squad. Um, what you think? I believe they should.
Hang on a little bit. I wanted to get back on what Sean said. He said about Puka Nacua. So he says to his comments, he says maybe take one more year and gives his expertise to Puka, and then leave knowing what Puka can prove himself. So, excuse me. Pardon me, been dealing with a sore throat. So basically, what he's saying is, give him one more chance, one more year together, and maybe he can be an explosive player because he's still young. So I mean, Puka Nacua has learned a lot from Cooper Kupp, but I think it would be a shame to split them both. But again, this is a business, so I mean, unfortunately, that's just how it is. A lot of the good players don't stay there forever. I mean, you look at the greats like Deion Sanders, um, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice. He was a Niner for a long time, then he went to be a Raider, and then he just went door to door on that. But as we get into the off season in March, in about 2 months, there's still a lot of uncertainties in the Rams organization, and there's a lot of players on this list that I would hate to see go. But we'll break it down to you. Alaric Jackson, offensive tackle, cornerback, Kilo Witherspoon, wide receiver, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, tackle Joseph Newboom, linebacker Christian Roseboom, defensive end Michael Hoyt, defensive line Bobby Brown, linebacker Troy Reader, wide receiver Tyler Johnson, tight end Hunter Long, defensive line Neville Gallimore, and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and the safety John Johnson. Those are the guys that are on the free agency that are scheduled to be an agent. Now, cap wise, they do have a little bit of money, but how many of these players do you think will come back?
I'll say because we, after a great tough season, and we got underestimated, and I think we signed 50% of these guys back from the defensive side. I believe we do got to sign Demarcus Robertson or Tutu Atwell back. I think Tutu Atwell was a little skinny. A little sneaky threat. I don't know if we signed Demarcus Robertson after.
Did you just call him skinny?
No, I said for his speedy threat. That's what I meant to say. But Demarcus Robinson, I'm not sure if we signed him back because of his 2 issues he had outside of football in LA. But I feel like out of this whole list, we signed 50% of those players back.
Yeah, but I mean, Robinson, he did have his off-field issues, but he did have a lot of memorable catches.
Yes,
I
and he
remember
had more than 6 touchdowns the whole
Seattle
season.
game. Look, the Seattle game would have lost if it wasn't for him. He did come up in the clutch a few times yesterday. I just think that he just needs some guidance to handle his off-field issues. He could be a good asset for this team.
Yeah, I can't be wrong with you with that because he did lead the team up there in the most receiving touchdowns this year.
I mean, I think the one guy that you may want to get rid of is maybe Tutu Atwell. I mean, I don't have nothing against him, but it looks like he wasn't really that much of a involvement in the offense this year as compared to last year. So, I mean, I don't know if there's room for him on his offense. I mean, I could probably see maybe switch him to running back because he does have the speed. But as far as receiver wise, I just don't think he has the size for it.
As another comment comes in by Sean the Man, OBJ is another of those notable free agents that left Miami. What you think about that?
I don't think OBJ has enough left in him. I mean, he could have come back to us anytime. I mean, he could have come back for a playoff run, just like Teddy Bridgewater did, and unfortunately his journey's over. But he could have come back. He would have had a playoff run. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes next year, or he'll call it quits. You got to think about it too, partner. No, there was not a lot of high interest in Odell Beckham. Don't know why, but his stocks have dropped. You know, being in Miami, it looked like he had fun, but he wasn't really involved in the system. And by the way, Sean says he has to head out to have a great show. And thank you, Sean. Thank you for coming in. I'm glad you were there. We'll catch you on the next one though for sure. You know, we miss having you on here too. So can't wait to see you on the next time in Rams house. Yes, indeed. But I don't know what's gonna happen there. But I remember Tyreek Hill. He said he wanted to leave Miami. What are the chances of him leaving at all?
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill and another good weapon from the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins. And I have one more player. Keenan Allen is rumored that he wants to come back to LA, but he didn't say what exact team.
Well, there was a report that came out before the game yesterday that he wants to stay in LA, but he actually wants to come play for the Rams.
Yeah, that came out. What you think about that?
He would be a great addition if Cooper Kupp does end up leaving, then maybe Keenan Allen will probably be your next bet to bring in as a veteran receiver. I just think that this team needs one more veteran receiver to help Puka Nacua because I think they have it. They have what it takes to win a championship, but they got to start getting it together soon because at some point you're going to hit the cap space and you're gonna go back to rebuilding, and rebuilding takes time.
Yeah, most definitely. And Keenan Allen is the same age as Puka by half a year, so that could be a great asset if Puka leaves. But like you mentioned, that Puka chemistry with the team is kind of solid.
My main concern, though, going into next year, is if this team can stay healthy. This is 2 years in a row that they had to like bounce back after a rough start, and it does work. But eventually, you're gonna have to get off to a good start if you want to make a playoff run. I mean, they can't keep doing it like this all the time. It's gonna end at some point. So you just gotta like they just need to get off. They need to stay healthy, get off to a good start, win those games. Because I think if they can get the 1 or 2 season, they have a chance at a playoff run to the Super Bowl. I mean, they had. I mean, think about it. These last 2 years, they had to do it the hard way. And I know they came up short last year in Detroit. They came up short here in Philadelphia in the second round. Who knows? Maybe next year, maybe they'll make an NFC Championship run, or maybe they'll go to the Super Bowl. Who knows? I know the Super Bowl's coming back to SoFi, so let's see when that will be. But it'll
Yeah,
be nice to see the Rams in another Super Bowl run.
yeah, 2 more years for it to be back at SoFi. But we do have. It was announced this morning that we were gonna get the 26th pick of the 2025 draft, and there's a lot of people saying that we might need another linebacker or maybe tight end position as well.
Well, yeah, with Tyler Higbee, I mean, I don't know how much he has left in him. He was banged up yesterday. He was hurt. He missed a few plays. Plus, it was cold. I think the tight end position does need to be upgraded a little bit. I don't think they don't have enough strong players on that side. I think maybe getting another like an offensive tackle or like an offensive line to help with Stafford, because when they won the Super Bowl, they had a combination of rookie and veteran linemen, and they were able to protect Stafford. So I mean, I think if you do that, then maybe I think maybe aggressively get a veteran on defense to help that young squad, help them develop better.
Yeah, I like that choice, a veteran to help the defense, the
Yeah, I
young,
just think you need to sign veterans because you got a young team.
yeah, super young.
You bring in the mentors, and they'll get better. And before we go here on the show, we do want to remind you that the 2025 schedule, or not the schedule, but the opponents have been listed. The Rams will play their traditional NFC West matchups at SoFi. This next year, they're playing both the NFC South. The NFC South, they're playing the Lions again. So the home schedule will be the traditional NFC West teams plus 5 new teams: the Saints, the Bucks, the Lions, the Texans, and Colts. So you have 3 playoff teams playing at SoFi next year, and then the away opponents will be the traditional NFC West teams. The Rams will be in Carolina, in Atlanta, in Philadelphia for the rematch, in Jacksonville, in Tennessee, and in Baltimore. So a tough schedule, it looks like, for the Los Angeles Rams as they try to repeat as NFC West champions. They haven't done that since 2017, 2018, so they're looking to go back to back this coming year. Again, a lot of questions as far as the NFC West. Who's going to be the top team? Arizona may be up there. They had a collapse, but hopefully they'll get that going. San Francisco has a big question mark because of Brock Purdy and then all those other assets.
Yep.
You don't know who's going to stay or come back. Seattle, I'm not sure if Geno
I'm up
Smith
there.
is the answer for them.
Right. I agree with you. So the only team from there I think is the Cardinals that could be up there with us in the contention because, like you mentioned, Geno Smith is a huge questionable call, and 49ers is still like a penny. Everybody's, I'm not sure what they got going, but it's
Yeah,
looking
it's
bright
like
for
the
us,
40, it's like
LA,
the
and
49ers. 49ers may be that one team that needs to file for bankruptcy. Who knows?
That's a good one, partner.
Hey, a lot of restaurants left California for a lot of businesses left California for obvious reasons. I mean, hey, maybe some people will leave the 49ers for obvious reasons. Who knows?
Most likely, who knows at this point? But great season for the Rams, man. Everybody counted us out, but we stepped up and we were a couple plays away from the next conference finals.
Well, hopefully next year, if they can do the right things they need to do, we might see them there. As we wrap up this season of the Rams here on Sports Talk, partner, what's your recap? What do you take from this season going into the next year?
I believe we start off hot. We start off hungry this season, coming up young, healthy squad, and I believe we'll rerun it again. Hopefully, we get Stafford back and the whole coaching staff back as well as one. But great team effort. Shout out to all the players, all the coaches that made it happen this year. It was an incredible season.
Well, I like to see all the coordinators come back. I mean, every year Sean McVay ends up losing one coordinator, and it has to be on the defensive end. So I'm hoping Chris Shula will stay another year because he helped that defense get going, and I think he has a potential to be a number one defense next season. And hopefully they'll be able to get off to a good start, play some Rams football, and then win the division again, and hopefully get another Super Bowl run in our hands. And like I said, I hope Stafford and Cooper Kupp come back because LA won't be the same without them. But if this is the end, I just want to say we appreciate everything they've done the last couple of years here in LA. But again, it would be a big off season for Los Angeles, especially the Rams, who are out after losing 28-22 yesterday in the divisional. And coming up this week, we'll recap Lakers and Clippers. We also will have our special AFC NFC championship talk this week on Friday. We'll break down the two games and who's going to go to the Super Bowl as we get towards Super Bowl weekend in New Orleans next month. Before we go, partner, just really quick, who do you got on tonight's national championship game?
I think Ohio has got a momentum after they got in a fight versus Michigan when they got defeated. So I take Ohio State. What about you?
I'm going to have to go with the Fighting Irish, man, because they're legendary. And, I mean, it'd be great for them to win it. I mean, I don't know who will win it. I've seen Ohio State win it, but I'd like to see someone else win it here.
Don't go wrong, partner. Good luck to them.
Yeah, so best of luck to tonight's championship matchup. Again, we want to thank everybody that tuned in this season for the Rams. We want to thank the Los Angeles Rams organization. We want to thank the Rams.com, Rams YouTube for providing the interviews and the post-game reactions. Want to thank ESPN 710 for the Rams for providing their coverage as well. And again, we want to thank you fans for tuning in this season on Sports Talk. It was a heck of a ride, NFC West champions, but I believe they'll be back next year, maybe a Super Bowl. And want to thank Sean the Man for sneaking in here. And partner, it's been great to do this. Been a while. Can't wait to do more shows. Again, we want to thank everybody who's been watching. We had hit 50 hours of live stream, so we want to thank all the fans for tuning in for that. And we also want to thank everyone for helping us reach 700 downloads here on Podbean. And partner, what do we always say before we go off the air?
Another day, another podcast. Whose house? Rams house.
Yeah, Rams house indeed. And again, we'll be back this week. Also, don't forget on Friday we're gonna have our special breakdown of the AFC Championship game. Again, it'll be Chiefs and Bills going at it for the first time since 2020, and then we'll have the Washington Commanders and the Eagles in the nightcap on Fox. The winner of those two will go to the Super Bowl, so we can't wait. And just a friendly reminder, we're going to have a Super Bowl watch party here on Podbean. We're going to watch the game with you fans, and we're going to tell you what we think as we see it from the big screens. Can't wait for that one. But again, for Jesus and Sean, I'm Ed. Thanks for watching us here on Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.